Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 12th. We continue our devotion on the book of Ezekiel, it's 36th chapter, verses 25 to 27. And I'd like for us to take a step back. Yesterday we had Jacob and building an altar to God. The altar, not where God told him to, God didn't tell him where to go. But in response to the blessings that God had given him, Jacob responded and built an altar to God. But prior to that, here's Jacob, who's on a journey, 500 miles or so on a journey. No car, if you take him 500 miles, he had to walk or ride a donkey or a wagon. And he traveled straight north past the Sea of Galilee into what would be the southern part of Turkey today. He had to travel through the lands of foreigners by himself and go to a cousin that he had never met before. His whole life was turned upside down. Remember, he had just had a little bit of a battle with his brother. And so his life was turned upside down because his birthright had been stolen. He left, traveled, tired, alone, and possibly even a little scared. And Jacob takes a break and he lays down for the night. He had traveled 2 to 3 days, probably at that point 70 miles or so. And without a pillow, he uses a stone and most likely put his coat down for a little bit of padding. After striving to steal God's blessings, look at where it got him. He was tired, all alone, and sleeping in the middle of nowhere with a deep sense of guilt. He was possibly thinking this: what on earth have I done? And God had to reach through to this broken young man. Even though he had lied, cheated, stolen the birthright, the promise of God which he had been given still stood true. God didn't want Jacob to despair of his love. There was only one small problem that God had to overcome. He couldn't just show up on Jacob's doorstep and say, "Hey, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you." One side of the Almighty God in full glory, and Jacob would have died, right then and there, being solely in the presence of the Almighty. So God had to find a different, less glorious manner of appearing to Jacob. And therefore Jacob had a dream. A dream which he saw staring, resting on the earth with his tops reaching to heaven. Excuse me. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord. Much has been made of this dream. Musical groups ranging from Led Zeppelin to Huey Lewis and the News have sung about this dream. It is an interesting dream. What do the angels mean? What does the stairway stand for? Why are the angels going up and down the stairs? Jesus, in John chapter 1, verse 51, compares himself to the stairway. He is our one and only pathway to God. The ascending could be thought of as them, the angels, taking our prayers and requests to God, and their descending could be thought of as they're giving God's blessings and answer to you and me. That's it. There really isn't much to the visual part of the dream. What is more important is the part of the dream that had the message that God gives Jacob. I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. God told Jacob, I am the Lord. Lord, Lord, means I am. God was showing Isaac by this name, that he continued to exist through all generations. He was there for Jacob's grandpa, Abraham. He was there for his father Isaac, and he would continue to be there for him. The same God who made sure that Abraham would have Isaac when he was 100 years old would see to it that Jacob would make it to Haran. God would make sure that Jacob would find a wife, be fruitful, and multiply. And boy, would he multiply. His descendants would be like that of the dust of the earth, and they would possess the very land that Jacob was lying on. Pray with me, would you? Almighty God, the most difficult of all situations, and yet you are still there to teach me and to bless me. You most certainly are an awesome God. Amen. Thanks for being with us this morning as we continue our study there of Ezekiel and most certainly Jacob, and how all that fits in with you and me. It'll make a little bit more sense tomorrow, I think. So come back. For the time being, go serve the Lord. Share the gospel of Jesus Christ with all that you meet. Share the grace. Have grace. God shed grace on you. Pass it on to others. We'll see you tomorrow.